I'm Ron Budman. In a previous video I showed you how I used the Milescraft SpiroCrafter to produce the design in this door. Well, today what I'm going to go over was the method that I designed to create this corner block for my trim. I've got to build 22 of these things, and since I don't have a CompuCarve or a CNC machine, I had to devise a way to do this, and I did it I put the design in this using the Milescraft SpiroCrafter. So here's the way I did it. I cut my workpiece to width and cut a couple of setup blocks, and here's what I used those for. I'll mark off the end of the workpiece. We'll lay the setup block down. Draw our line, and then what I did was used a piece of 1/8" brass setup block in order to measure the width of my saw blade. I'm going to have to cut these blocks out of this piece, so I need to compensate for the saw blade. And I proceeded to mark off the entire board using the 1/8" block and my cut setup blocks. The next thing I needed to do was measure the center of each one of these blocks. So using the 45-degree angle on a combination square, I went down through and found the center line for each diagonal on the blocks. And we come back up the other way, pinpointing the middle of each one. Now the last thing I want to do for my markings is I need to put a center line down through the board so that I have a center line with which to line up the SpiroCrafter square to the workpiece. I cut 2 boards to length to build my fixture, and we're going to put a brace on both ends of the fixture. I need to make sure that the workpiece moves freely within the fixture as I'm screwing this together. Now it's time to clamp down our SpiroCrafter. We clamp it right on top of the fixture. And I need to make absolutely sure I have it lined up with that center line I drew on the workpiece. It's got to be exact. What I'm going to do is cut one position with the SpiroCrafter on the entire board. Then I'm going to move the SpiroCrafter and cut the next position going the opposite direction, which makes it very easy and pretty fast. We'll move the SpiroCrafter to the next position. You can see we are down to the end of the board.
Move it again. And we'll go back the other direction for our third cut. And we'll rotate our SpiroCrafter 90 degrees one more time for our last pass through the board. The next step is to cut our blocks. What I did was I pasted a piece of 1/8 inch plywood to the back fence of my saw so that I had zero clearance and eliminate some of the tear out that's inevitable when you cut something like this. Another thing the plywood does, it allows me to accurately align my saw to those 1/8 inch lines in between the blocks. Some of you are probably wondering why I just didn't put a stop block in there. Well, it might have made things a little bit faster, but what if I was off a little bit on my measurements? By the time I got down to the end of the board, it might have been off. So I thought it was just as easy to align with my 1/8 inch marks for each cut. And I'll turn the block around and cut the end off of the last block. The last thing I did was chamfer the edges of the blocks using a 45-degree router bit on my router table. And there's my final edge.
Hey, for me not being a professional woodworker, I'm pretty happy with the way these things turned out, and I think I'm going to have a great looking room. Anyhow, you make it a great day, and thanks for watching.